Welcome to Meanwhile in Andorra,
where two guys talk about
football
nonsense
and everything else in between. With your hosts, Travis and Ricky.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Meanwhile in Andorra. It's great to see you here. And we've been joined today. There's myself, there's Travis, and there's Carlos, all here to talk about what happened at the World Cup. Now it's officially over. We got the World Cup blues.
Yeah. You missed out. By the way, you missed out where two blokes talk about football nonsense and everything else in between as well. Oh, or did the kids say that? I can't remember. It's been so long.
The kids say that.
Since we've done a podcast, that I can't remember who does what in that respect.
For the World Cup, right?
But yeah, we're back. Ricky's here. Sorry, Carlos?
Yeah, Ricky's back, yeah. Since a long time ago, yes. So I remember we did one, I think 1 week, 2 weeks before the tournament, right?
Yeah,
we did one between the tournament, and then we did our little video as well, didn't we? The one in the build up to the tournament where we talked about what we liked, what we thought was going to happen, and the stuff afterwards as well.
We should have kept a note to see how much of it we got right and how much we didn't. We weren't that well organised.
Yeah.
We could probably get that.
Pretty good shout. Pretty good shout. We can probably go back and have a look at the videos and see what was there from last time, and it'll tell you.
Yeah, no, that's fine. The two kids.
I was just saying, Carlos, I know you're wearing an Argentina shirt today.
Yes, can you recognize the World Cup or not? That's easy one.
Well, do you know what? So if the investigator in me can see that you've only got 2 stars on it, so obviously it's pre-2022. I'm gonna say 2010.
You, Ricky?
What do you think, Ricky?
Sorry, it froze. What was the question there?
Carlos is Argentina top. What year is it? I said 2010.
Say, well, it's not 2006. I would have probably said 2010 or 2014.
I think it's not. I don't think it's 2014.
Yeah?
I think I remember their one because they wore that in. Yes, still got it.
Important one. They use this one. I like it a lot because they use this one against Greece at least. And that's a game that I really like it a lot. I don't know if you know Martin Palermo.
I remember Martin Palermo from Boca. Misser of
Exactly,
3 penalties
Boca,
in one game once.
Yeah.
Exactly. He was not so successful with Argentina and also not in Europe, but he's a complete idol in Boca Juniors, and I will say South America, one of the greatest in the 2000. Probably you remember that he went to this tournament with 36 years old.
He got called up again.
Scored the
He's really
goal.
old, wasn't he?
Exactly. He scored a last-minute goal against Peru in not the last, but one game before the last game of the qualifiers.
That's when Maradona ran on in the rain.
Exactly.
When he did the slide in the rain.
Exactly. Although that, it was very doubtful of if Maradona will take him to the World Cup. Maradona finally took him to the tournament. He played 10 minutes against Greece, and he scored a goal. And I remember watching that game with a cousin.
I didn't remember that.
And as soon as Palermo started to warm up, we were very happy, and we were waiting for a goal from him. And I think he got 2 shots. The first 2 chances. The first one he missed it, but the second one was a rebound after a Messi shot, and he scored it. Probably that was after the penalty from Abreu. Probably that was the goal that I celebrate the most in that tournament. So I had this. I used this shirt and always remember Martin Palermo. Yeah.
Obviously, I don't remember that game as well. I do remember him going, and I do remember Argentina picking and playing him, but I do not remember against who or anything like that. It was Greece, South Korea, Argentina, and Nigeria.
Yes.
No, not
Yes.
Nigeria. Cameroon. No. Was it Nigeria? No, they didn't get
Now
Nigeria.
Nigeria.
Yeah, Nigeria.
That's
And
in the
South
other
Korea?
game. Exactly. In the parallel game was South Korea against Nigeria. And probably you remember that goal that I think Yakubu Ajegbeni missed with.
He missed an open goal.
Yeah.
Nigeria needed one goal to qualify and he misses it. He was in the small area.
Yes.
And somehow he managed to miss it. Yeah. And it was not
Yes, he missed
some
open goal.
player, was the best player of Nigeria at the time, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, he was up front for Everton. He played up front for Everton at that point.
Exactly,
Or maybe
from
Blackburn.
Everton.
Don't know which one
Was
at the time.
a very
And he was
decent
scoring lots of
striker,
goals.
yeah?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Indeed he was.
Yeah, I remember I managed to watch. Yeah, let's start.
No, sorry. No, what were you going to say?
One point. I remember that I managed to watch that World Cup with 2 TVs for the third group games when there was parallel.
Oh yeah.
I remember watching both games at the same time. So in my room, having 2 TVs. But yeah, small details.
I've been doing that since 2014. Because television now you can watch it on your laptop. Since the 2014 World Cup, I have both. If there's 2 games on at the same time, I'll have them on at the same time. This year, I didn't do it as much because they were on at really awkward hours. But I did watch. I remember I watched Tunisia against Japan, and was it Tunisia Japan that was on at the same time as Netherlands against Sweden? Was that the same? No, that wasn't the same time because they beat them. It was the other one. It was Tunisia against Netherlands. Tunisia against Netherlands and Japan against Sweden. I watched at the same time, and I watched Republic of Congo against Uzbekistan and Portugal against Colombia at the same time as well. Those are the 2 that I did this time round. I remember watching it in and I watched a few others, but those are the 2 ones. Do you know why? Because I remember I was sat in this exact chair here, and it was 2 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah. I mean, I have done the last times also with a laptop.
Not as much opportunity. But that leads me on to my first question. So to kind of move us along and sort of around what the best bits of this World Cup. What were your favourite bits? Ricky, let's start with you. What were your favourite bits from this World Cup? What did you like about it?
Bits I liked about it. I was trying to think top 3 things. I think one of the things I liked about it was how well the African nations did. In terms of how many of them progressed further. I think that was quite good. I also I did like the expanded tournament in terms of, it's funny actually, because I like the expanded tournament and there's also negatives to it, but I actually did like the expanded tournament and the stories we got from it. The best thing I found about it was, I think it happens every tournament, but actually the fan interactions, the stories that were coming out around the World Cup, I like those, I think, as much as anything, because there was a lot there that went on. Norway fans, Scotland fans, the Mexican fans after the England game. I think there was a lot there where there was just everyone just got on and had a great time. There was hardly any trouble anywhere, if anything. And considering we were worried about it with how Americans could perceive it, especially in some parts of it, but actually no, it was a really good tournament, I thought, for the fans, despite the prices they had to pay to be there. But yeah, I'd say football in terms, how far Africa got in terms of their nations in the world.
Yeah. And Carlos, what was your favourite bit about it?
I mean, I agree with Ricky. Yeah. My favorite, I was thinking.
Can you hear him? This has got to be the most cursed episode.
I think it needs to come back.
It's got.
I suppose, if we're still recording, one of the other things, late drama.
Loads of late goals, wasn't there?
That was a late drama. But is that last tournament there were a lot of late goals, and that was obviously because they'd done that thing where they were adding on so much extra time.
Yeah, 10 minutes stoppage time.
And then now they were doing the same thing.
Perfect. You're actually come back clear now, and your picture's clear as well. No, it's gone.
Now you're able to see me.
Ricky was just saying he liked the late goals as well of this World Cup. Right. Okay. Let's pretend none of that happened a minute ago, and we'll start from what was your best bits of this World Cup, Carlos?
In order to not repeat what Ricky said, what I agree with him, I will say, yeah, I think that for all of us, the games from Cabo Verde, how you say Cape,
We say
how you
Cape
say
Verde, Cabo Verde, yeah.
Cape Verde, were amazing, yeah. So a lot of people, I mean, against Spain was okay. Let's say if they managed to resist 0-0 against Uruguay, it was another type of game. They managed to score 2 goals. When Uruguay managed to score the second one, I was like, okay, so Cape Verde are done, but they can manage to come back. And I was really thinking Saudi Arabia is gonna beat them, to be honest. And I keep watching more the Uruguay against Spain that day. But yeah, so they managed to get a 0-0 against Saudi Arabia. I think they just needed to beat Cape Verde to qualify to the next round. And considering they beat Argentina in last tournament, the league they have now, for me, we're still favorites. So they managed to get these 3 results, and the absolute highlight from Cape Verde was that game against Argentina. Although although they lost, that game was fantastic. I was really thinking they could beat Argentina even in penalties. Yeah, because if they manage, Argentina normally wins in penalty kicks, but already going to penalty kicks again against Cape Verde would have been a lose, you know. But
Yeah.
that's the first thing.
I've got
What they
a funny
show on the
story.
pitch.
Sorry, on the Argentina Cape Verde game, I've got a funny story for you there, right? So that night, I went out. I don't normally go out during the World Cup. I always try and watch as much as I can, and I went out for a meal, and we were out, and I managed to watch the first part of it in like a bar. We were in a bar after the meal, and we watched Argentina go 1-0 up. Then in the taxi home, Cape Verde equalised. So I'm like, brilliant. Sounds like a great game. So I get home, I put it on television, and it's like midnight in the UK, maybe. And there's like, I think there's something like 10 minutes to go in the game or whatever. And I'm feeling a bit sleepy because I've not slept properly for the whole World Cup. And I blinked and I opened my eyes, and Argentina are celebrating with the fans, and they're clapping them, being like, "Oh God, like, can you believe we won this game 3-2?" And I missed the whole of extra time. I fell asleep and missed the whole thing. So all of that drama happened, and I didn't see any of it real time.
Happens to me with England against Norway. I let it 1-1. It started the extra time. I remember the goal from Norway. I remember 2-1, and I opened my eyes with 2-1 from England. So I was not sure
because they did VAR.
Yeah.
Exactly. So to be honest, here in German TV, I don't have cable, and in the Open TV, you were able to watch 60% of the games. England against Norway was not one of those games, so I watched it on the laptop. And since I was watching on the laptop, I sit on the sofa and sit like on the side, and that was a problem. And I remember that 2-1, okay, goal from Norway. I blink, open the eyes, and there was 2-1 for England. Like, I didn't got it. I was able to put back the video, and I say, okay, I was not dreaming.
But that's what I did. That's what I did. I rewound it, and then I watched it, but it's not the same, you know?
It's not the same. It's not the same. It's not the same.
So funny. The perils of having a World Cup that's on in the wee hours of the morning. Yeah, like another one I did. I missed. I also on the second night or the third night, I watched Brazil Morocco at 11, and then I wanted to watch Scotland v Haiti, so I set an alarm after Brazil Morocco. I said I'll sleep for an hour, then I'll watch Scotland Haiti, and I got up for Scotland Haiti, and I just rolled over again after my alarm and just went back to sleep because I just couldn't do it. But then I opened my eyes again, and Turkey Australia was on, so I watched the whole thing. Even though I hadn't planned to watch Turkey Australia, I just watched the whole of Turkey Australia because I was like, well, I'm up now.
I mean, the first fixture for me was great because I was still, fit to wake up starting the second, so that's fixture. It was quite difficult because I remember Mexico, South Korea. South Korea was great in the first game against Czech Republic.
Czech Republic. I watched that. Yeah, I watched that. Yeah.
I watched that and I was okay. Korea will win this group. I thought will win or will be second for sure. And I really wanted to watch Mexico, South Korea. And I put my alarm and somehow I opened the eyes like 15 minutes before the end of the game with Mexico 1-0. And it was still great. The last 15 minutes were cool, but I missed both. I really wanted to watch the whole game. Yeah. And therefore, I think I didn't enjoy that much the second, but the third was terrible. The third, I was normally I put or with a laptop and one TV, and if I was opening the eyes for the second pair of games of the day,
Yeah.
it was a lot
Well,
already.
My favourite bit of every World Cup is the group stage, and it was really hard to follow because of the fact that the games were so late.
They were four games in a day is too much.
Yeah,
For
it was
people
too
like
hard to
us,
follow.
yeah, for people like us.
Do you know, I didn't watch a single, and I'm really annoyed at this, I didn't watch a single game of Jordan, and I didn't see a single game of New Zealand, and I think that was it, those two. Jordan, New Zealand, I didn't see them play at all.
I managed to watch from Jordan against Austria, and it was a great game. I mean, all the first game, I think were fantastic. I missed Panama against Ghana, so I think I saw the first 20 minutes and I thought, okay, Panama is doing great, and somehow
I the same as you. That was a 12 that was like 1 o'clock German time, maybe.
Yeah, it was midnight.
Because I was out with Panama, Ghana. Why did I saw that? I did saw a bit of it and I fell asleep. No, that wasn't. I thought that, but that wasn't Panama, Ghana, because that was when England played Ghana. So it would have been Panama, Croatia. I saw the beginning of. Panama, Ghana was the first week. I can't remember the game now. I can't remember what happened. But
it was the first feature.
Yeah.
To be honest, I was checking the Wikipedia before doing the podcast, and I remember most of the games from the group stage. I could have told to you from my head, but I forgot a lot of games, not from the 8 finals, but from the round of 32. You know,
really,
I totally forgot the Switzerland against Algeria. I saw that goal.
That was late as well. That was a late one.
Yeah, I wanted to see that goal because I don't know. In my head, I watch every goal like at the next day, like the resume of the goals and everything. But I have no memories from Switzerland against Algeria. I would have not remembered that they played in the round of 32.
That's when the young guy set up the goal, wasn't it? The young guy, I can't remember his name now, the guy they have up front, and he beats
Bolo and the guy that
scored
against Argentina. I forgot the name.
The youngster, yeah. He does a run where he beats a load of people and he sets a goal up, I think, yeah. But that was for me, that was, and not wishing to kind of jump onto it, and I don't know whether you guys agree, but that was probably the bad side of this World Cup. I thought the game times were, because of the game times and because of because we talked previously about USA 94, and the game times weren't like at USA 94. They were a lot later and a lot harder to follow. And the number of games as well just made it really hard. You could never just say, oh, yeah, I'm going to do an all-nighter, because there's just too many games to follow. So I watched so little of this World Cup compared to any other World Cup I've ever watched before.
It was the frequency as well with those games, because it just didn't make sense. Like you had 4 games on a Friday.
When it was on like a reasonable time, and another day so it'd just be like 4 a.m. and you're like, what?
Yeah, and you had a Saturday and Sunday where you think, right, they're going to go to town and you can have a good games back to back, and then it's like, oh, we'll do it one Sunday, but we won't do it the Saturday.
2 games on a Saturday, and then a couple on a Sunday. Yeah, you're right. And then they have 4 on a Monday.
Yeah, it just didn't make sense. And I know they had the basketball final on one weekend, so they didn't want to take away from that. And but it was also like, there is enough games in other states, where this is happening.
Yeah, exactly. Go somewhere else.
So yeah, no, for me, yeah, it weren't just the timings of the actual games themselves, but actually how they scheduled them. It just didn't make
the volume
sense.
and you're absolutely right. It felt really ad hoc, didn't it? Like an haphazard.
Yeah. So one of my Ricky, I don't know if I talked with you about that also in the podcast, but with Travis, since I know him some years ago, I always say I'm fascinated how England, but also Scotland. So in another way, Scotland managed to not to qualify to the knockout stage. And when I saw, I thought, okay, first game is against IT. They will win. They almost don't win. They didn't deserve to win that day, but they won. And somehow I thought they will manage somehow to get a point or don't lose for too much goals to qualify. But they will have lost against Brazil 1-0. I think they will be probably
the goal
not
difference would have been
qualified.
-1. I don't think anybody with 3 points and -1 went through. I don't know. I could
I
be
mean,
wrong.
Iran got 0, yeah? Yeah, -1. Yeah, they would
Everyone
have
had
needed
0.
to,
Yeah,
to,
that's
to
the
beat,
problem.
to beat, yeah.
They finished
But
like 10th or 11th, didn't they?
at the end, then it happened again. Yeah, but I was also expecting to watch the videos of the Scottish fans, and they were great. Yeah, Scottish fans, maybe I forgot now because Norway went so far through that this continued until almost the very end of the tournament.
Yeah.
But in the group stage, the most videos that I got were from
Scottish
Scottish
fans.
fans.
Yeah,
Right?
well, they were in Boston, weren't they?
Yeah.
And they were out all the bars and that. That Brazil game, I watched that. I watched that in Scotland. That's when I was in. I actually watched Scotland-Brazil in Scotland, in Livingston. You probably never heard of Livingston Football
I
Club.
heard.
You heard of them? So I work for a company that is based in London and Scotland, and our office in Scotland is in Livingston. So they hired out the bar at Livingston Football Club, which is the same size as the bar at Billericay Town Football Club, mate. Like it's very, very low. Let's not to be disparaging of a company but it wasn't like, it wasn't like Wembley or anything like that. And then they got like a fan park, which was like I would say like a fancy, like almost like a marquee. It felt like I was in, and we watched it there, and obviously everybody was really excited. Everyone's like, "Oh, we could do it," and the drinks are flowing. Everyone's having a good time, and then as the night went on, disaster unfolded in front of me, and it was like our pod on Scotland that we did, Ricky, and I was sitting there, and obviously I wanted them to win. I wanted them to do well. And I'm here with all my Scottish colleagues, and it's just going so badly. And by the end of it, we were just at the bar drinking. No one even cared because they were like, well, we're out now. And I don't think anyone thought they were going to go through on -3 goal difference. That's the problem. It's like so hard.
Especially, it was like I compared it to golf when you get like the cut off on the 2 days. It's like when you tee off so early as well, and you finish your round and you're mid-table before the leader of the pack has started their round. It's like you're just going to go down. You know, wait. I think they were when they finished their game, they were 1 or 2 places off the bottom of going through. I think they were
because they were Group C. That's the problem, isn't it? Yeah, they're the third group. Yeah.
So everyone else who played after them, they just knew they were only going down and down and down. So they knew it was a foregone conclusion. And it's funny because even I was probably the more optimistic of any Scotsman or Scottish family I had talking about it. I was like, no, there's a chance. But at the World Cup, they just didn't turn up. It weren't the same team that we saw in qualifying at all. Like they just couldn't transfer it.
You think, yeah, but you say that, but I just don't. I think they did. I just don't think they're like Morocco are good. You know, Morocco are good, right? Yeah, are they Scotland? The team that we saw in qualifying, I wouldn't have said are better than Morocco. So they played Morocco. Morocco beat them. I know Morocco scored early. And then, and when Morocco scored early, I thought they were going to get badly beaten. Yeah. And they managed to hold on and even had a couple of chances in the second half. They played Brazil again. I told you at the beginning before the tournament that Brazil weren't going to be very good, and I knew they wouldn't be. But they're better than Scotland. And again, I thought they did what they should. I think they even played the one was Haiti, wasn't it? The Haiti game was probably, and that probably is what killed them as well, because obviously it messed up the goal difference. Because if they got a couple more against Haiti, maybe they have better goal difference. But I thought on paper, I think everyone looked at it and said, oh, they've got an easier group or more straightforward group. But actually, when you look at it, it wasn't at all. There was one game in there that they could see as winnable. And in the end, it ended up being a team that actually put up a bit of a fight.
you were hoping that they would have a moment that they had in qualifying where I think I was hoping it would be the Brazil game where they might nick a draw, knowing how bad Brazil could be. I thought that might have been the way. I didn't expect them to get from Morocco, but Brazil, I thought they might be able to come up with some magic and get a draw later on. That was a funny game for me actually because that was a 2 o'clock in the morning game. Baby's been waking up.
Was it 2?
That was 1 o'clock. It was one of
11?
those. Yeah,
No, it was 11. It was
11.
was it 11? It was 11, wasn't it?
It was
11.
a late one.
And then it finished at 2.
It finished at 2, yeah, because I was feeding the baby, and really late on in the game, and then I blinked and I missed it. Not only did I blink and miss it, I got woke up with the baby's head hanging off my arm and the bottle like nowhere near her mouth and everything. But I was literally like, didn't know what had happened, and all I saw was they had lost. It was 0-0 when I actually fell asleep. I'm sure of it. But yeah, that was crazy. That was really what broke up the tournament for me actually, because I think because of the feeding situation, I saw a lot of halves of games, which I don't really recall, rather than the full length of any of those
whole
games. Yeah.
Carlos, what was your favourite goal of the tournament? What was the best goal for you?
Didn't think about that. Could you tell your goal? Then I let me remember. Let me think
I'm going to ask
which
Richie.
was
I
yours.
can't even. I still don't. So obviously, there's the Lopez Cabral for Cape Verde. I didn't see it at the time. That's a good goal.
Yeah.
There's an Mbappe one against Senegal that's really good as well. I think the second goal he scores against Senegal, where he hits the ball and it goes like out of nowhere. Like Senegal have just pulled one back
on the edge,
and you think,
where he's
is it going to be a game? Not the one where Elise finds him, which is another good goal, but the one where they've just scored and they take centre basically, and they just score again. That's a really good goal. Gosh,
do you know what? New Zealand scored a really good team goal? But the way they gave Chris Wood all that time to bring it down, but there was actually a good passing movement. That was a good team goal.
So I watched the highlights of that afterwards, right? And that was the slowest game I've ever seen in my life. It looked like a League One game. Like it was. That's when
New Zealand Iran.
Yeah. New Zealand Iran. Was it New Zealand Iran?
Was a good game. I like.
It was. It looked like a good game, but it was very slow.
I watched it live. It was great because you didn't know what would happen. Both went to win. It was an entertaining.
It was a good game.
And you have some stuff. I had curiosity to watch Iran because all what happened, how they play, and New Zealand is like they play like very nice, saying like that. So they attack. They just want to play to do what the best they could do, and that's what like interesting. Yeah, considering that a third place would qualify, it was a game that would have defined the qualification for one of them.
Yeah.
But we count in the Norway goal.
God. Which one?
Definitely meant to be a cross, but
what, that one where Pickford pulls his hand out of the way?
Yeah,
he
pulled his hand out of the way. Scored it? Is it the young lad, wasn't it, on the wing?
The winger. What about? I got one. Norway against Ivory Coast. Nusa. That's a good goal. Yeah. And then Diallo's equaliser is a good goal as well, where he beats everybody and then scores. There's 2 good goals in that game. That's the one thing I can't. There's not really. I don't think there was a standout, which is probably why you're asking me to tell me yours. Tell you mine, Carlos, because there wasn't a standout where you go, oh, yeah, that's a brilliant goal. There were lots of decent strikes from distance and things like that, but nothing that was and. Obviously, there's the whole seeing a goal in the moment as well that makes it good.
Just a general question: in other World Cups, what would your favorite goals were like? Individual goals or
it's a
team
mixture.
goals, say like that.
It's a mixture. I don't know if you remember the video we did on the short video we did before. One of my favourite goals is so there's 2 and that's a perfect example of what you're talking about. So Eder against USSR, where he flicks the ball up for himself. Obviously, that's an individual goal, right? He scores that. But then I also like Socrates against Italy in the same tournament when Zico plays in that, they play the ball behind Gentile goes thing, and they play a reverse ball that no one sees, and then Socrates is just in, and then Zoff thinks he's going to go across the goal, and he goes near post, and it's such a good goal. So I like a mixture.
But can I say you something? That Zico and Socrates goal is a geniality from two players, not a Maradona against England that he did everything alone. But
Yeah,
if
yeah,
you watch that, it's like Socrates give to Zico, Zico give a turn, and so it's a geniality from
yeah.
both players.
You could say that.
So you cannot say that's like a team goal.
Yeah, it wasn't everybody. Not everybody touched the ball. Yeah, you're right.
Exactly. There's one statistic I wrote here that is like that is very, I like these pieces of geniality. This goal from Cape Verde against Argentina is also great. Yeah, also like long shots goal, like I don't know, Maxi Rodriguez against Mexico in 2006,
Yes,
or Joe Cole against England,
Sweden?
also 2006. Against Sweden. I saw this statistic that made a lot of sense what we are seeing now in football. Like now that teams have much more effectivity, we see more goals, yeah, but the teams now shot in average from 16.8 meters, while before 1970, the teams shot much more. They had they shot from 1970.
Are you saying they shot from close up now? They shoot from
They
close
shot
up.
closer. Before it was 21.8 meters. Yeah.
Right.
Every time you shot closer. What means that? Why is that? Which is the reason? Yeah, just 1 second, Ricky.
You reckon
The reason is, yeah,
offside? Is the offside rule up in there? Because wasn't that changed?
not really. I will give you another statistics. 1970 normally, so in average, you get 3.5 passes per play. Now you get 5.8 passes per play. So in every play, the teams do more passes. Yeah. What means that? The downside from that is that you get less individual plays. Less plays like Maradona or Socrates and Zico that at the end, Zico is involved, but Socrates did a long part of the goal alone. So that's the downside. We see more passes, but we see less individual actions, and at the end, therefore, goals. This statistic also was very surprising for me. In 1970, we have 42 shots per game. Now, in 2026, although we have a very good goal average, we only have 24.6 shots per game. They score more because they shot from closer. Because the possibility, if you manage to shot closer to the goal, you have a higher probability to score. The trainers know this. They train for that. So we are gonna lose all these individualities, and not only that, but also the shots. I just told you before, they were much more shots to the goal than now. What means that goals like Joe Cole, they are gonna be extinct at some point because a player is not motivated to do that anymore.
Yeah,
Player will say, hey, just pass the ball, and we shot when we are.
Yeah,
Exactly.
You're seen as wasteful, aren't you? You're
Yeah, I was
wasteful.
thinking
If you
exactly
shoot
that
from
word,
there,
yeah.
and if it doesn't go in,
Exactly.
You're giving up
But
possession.
now, yes. Now that you asked for the goal, I was also thinking, I say, okay, I celebrate a lot the goals from Argentina and some other, but it's not because they were super great goals, yeah. Because they were goals for a comeback, not
In the
for the
moment.
fact that were exactly. Maybe the one from Cape Verde against Argentina, that was fantastic. There were also another good goals, but I don't remember. I don't have in my head this goal, like for example, Van Persie against Netherlands in 2014. You don't see more these goals that are unique, that you are not gonna see something similar again.
One I did like that was different. It wasn't so much. It wasn't like a long range shot or anything like that. Was it against Cape Verde or Egypt? Was it Messi's goal? But it was just pure determination. Where he was just
Which
like
one?
where he ran. Where he had the shot and then he got blocked and then he carried on and he got the tackle. He sort of went. He almost went through 3 players to get the ball
Well, that's
into
Austria.
the back of the
That
net.
was the last group match against Austria.
Was it the last rematch? Yeah. He scored.
Exactly, but
great goal. It's just sheer determination. That's all that was. Like, but it was still a great goal. It wasn't pretty in that sense. It wasn't like you'd normally suggest you put with Messi, but it was a great goal.
I remember it. There was also one against Algeria that was quite good, but when you look at it, it kind of goes the one that he beats Zidane's son. But Joe Hart was talking about the ball moving and stuff,
Yeah.
and how it kind of goes down. It doesn't go right in the corner. It was kind of it was like I said, not really a World Cup for like big goals. What were your disappointments? Did anybody disappoint you in the tournament, Carlos?
So as a team, Uruguay, I was sure they would qualify, and we would have Uruguay-Argentina for sure. So after the first game, I was disappointed with South Korea. I still don't understand how they couldn't get a point against South Africa. But they played quite good against Czech Republic. As teams, those were my disappointments. Then for sure the final was not what we all expected.
The final was.
I will also say, I told you sometime before that the quarterfinals normally find a tournament. Yeah, this is difficult to say that because you have so many games and so many knockout games. I didn't like too much the quarterfinals from World Cup.
They weren't great. They weren't memorable.
Were not great. Were not great. In other tournaments, I talked Ricky with Travis that I told with him, if you wanna know if a World Cup was great or not, just check the quarterfinals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But here you have so much knockout games. That is, I was thinking about that. It doesn't apply so much as in the previous one, because France against Morocco was not exciting. Spain against Belgium, I was cheering for Belgium, but it was not that exciting. Even England against Norway, that was not bad, but I was expecting more. And Argentina against Switzerland probably was the less exciting game from Argentina before the final. Cape Verde and Egypt were much more exciting. It was a good game, but
that's another game I missed, right? Argentina, Switzerland, in my head, again, these times, I thought it was on the Monday. I thought it was Sunday night. Because obviously I thought they had a quarterfinal every day. Again, to Ricky's point about the scheduling being weird as well. You had a game on a Friday, a game on a Saturday, then England on the... what was it? It was
Sunday
was it a
evening,
Thursday?
Monday morning.
It was Thursday, wasn't it? Belgium, Spain was a Thursday. France against Morocco was the Friday. The Saturday was England, Norway. So in my head, Sunday night going into Monday morning was going to be Argentina, Switzerland. And I saw it was at 2 a.m. And then all of a sudden it was the same day. And I went to bed and got up in the morning and saw that Argentina had won. I was like, oh, great, I've missed it. And it didn't even occur to me because I was just so tired by that point. I was like, it didn't even occur to me to look and see that it was on.
I also miss it, to be honest. Would you say tired? After the round of 16 finished, I was already tired. As a person that tried to follow the whole World Cup, and even realizing after the first fixture, okay, I will need to choose some games. After the round of 16, I was tired. I was, okay, no, still these games, it's like, I don't want more. It was maybe therefore I didn't enjoy as much as the quarterfinals. The semifinals, you realize, okay, there are just 3 games, it's different. Yeah. But anyway, it was too much for people like us that try to follow the whole tournament.
It merged it all together, didn't it? With the round of 32, the last 16 in quarterfinals. It was really hard to differentiate looking back.
What was what?
Wow.
There's bits of it. You're like, did they get to the round of 16? Did they get to the round of 30?
Yeah.
Like Austria. I remember them getting knocked out, but I don't remember them getting knocked out. And there's stuff like that. You're like, oh, did they get there? And it's so bad. Like, there's so many of it. It's the blur, as you say. Like, the round of 16 becomes the round of 32.
Fans like us will be extinct same year or something like that.
Didn't help.
Yeah.
What was your disappointment, Ricky? What were you disappointed with, or was there a disappointment for you?
Team-wise, I was disappointed. Holland, in the Netherlands, I expected a bit more from them. I thought they didn't seem that great. They looked like they might start well, and then it sort of just fizzled out. South Korea was another one, definitely for me. Japan as well. Yeah, they were ones I definitely wanted to see more from. I tell you what did disappoint me, and I touched on this, I think, in one of those light the little clips we've done, was Norway in the sense where they went to that France game, the last group game. I know they didn't need much from it, but it was like, come on,
Just gave up.
yeah,
They gave up before they even played it.
it was like, yeah. And it was like, we know we're probably, and they were even saying, I know we're probably going to lose, like, and we're probably playing the potential champions or finalists. But it's like, this is your first World Cup in however long, or so go all out. Like, literally, you're just happy to be there, and it showed, I think. And even in the game against England, it looked like they were there and they suddenly wanted to win, but it was like, there was nothing there from them. I just thought, I would have liked to have seen a bit more bite from them, considering they have a good team. Like, they have got more in the tank. But yeah, that was a bit of a disappointment, because that game could have been a really good game. I think if they played a better side, France went for it. But
well, the issue was if they'd both won 2 games at that point, right?
Yeah.
So there was nothing to play for.
No,
because they were both playing. Was that the second game or it was the second game, wasn't it? So the third game, wasn't it?
It was the third game. It was the last group game. Yeah. So they both, they
both won twice.
France had scored a few more goals, so I think they knew they weren't going to top it in any way. So I think they probably wanted to get that side of the draw in the side they got as well, because you avoid Spain and things like that. So maybe that had played into it. But yeah, it just felt a bit like, come on, you're at a tournament. Just play a game.
You know, the Netherlands, I didn't even think about them. That is a little bit like, you know what I liked? You say they were disappointed. Like, they were disappointing that they went knocked out so early. It was disappointing that they had to play Morocco in the round of 32. Much like it was disappointing that Brazil had to play Japan. And I said Japan would be good. I said Brazil would be rubbish. And I think I was right in both cases. It's a shame that you've got those fixtures. And also, like, even, do you know who was disappointed? Germany. Germany were disappointing.
Yeah.
Round of 32, exit to Paraguay. Carlos is shaking his head. That's because you wanted.
I don't
Paraguay to
remember
win,
if I say, but I didn't have too much expectation in Germany. Of course, I was expecting they reach this game against France.
Yes,
But
exactly. That's what I thought was
but
going to happen.
but somehow I was not expecting that much, and I don't know. In my work, I know about Paraguay. I know the history. It doesn't matter. Of course, it matters.
Defense.
Exactly. Of course, it matters the names that you have. It's not the same having Chilavert or Gamara or Roque Santa Cruz there, but they have the same style of play since I remember. And even after the 4-1 against USA,
America. Yeah.
I went to the work and there are a lot of Turkish people, and they told me they were disappointed because of the game against Australia, and they were saying, at least now we have to play. Many say Uruguay, or they know Paraguay or Uruguay, but they were sure they will beat them. And I say to all of them, Paraguay will beat you 1-0. I was sure, and they were like making laugh. So, and I was sure. So, and it happened, and the way that I was expecting. Paraguay will score a goal and then they will defend. Against Australia.
Exactly what happened, right?
Yeah.
It's exactly against Australia. I don't see that game, but I was sure it's gonna be a tie. Yeah, 1-1 or 0-0. I was sure. And from what I saw and I read, it's like they just play get 1 point and qualify. But when they play against Germany, they got 1-0 against France in the round of 16 in 1998. Against Germany in 2002, they lost with a last-minute goal from Oliver Newby. Yeah? I don't know if you remember. So I knew that game, I guess, do you remember? Oliver Newby.
Was that the last group match? That wasn't the last group match.
No.
So they were in the group, because they were in Italy's group.
Stage.
They're in Italy's group. In the knockout stage. Is that how they lost to?
Yes, against Germany, they reached the final and they lost with a goal in the 8th.
2002. I'm thinking 2010.
Exactly.
Yes, 2002.
2002.
Yes, 2002.
Against Spain in 2010.
In 2010. 2010 is Spain, yeah.
2010, they also lost with a goal 10 minutes before the end. So I knew that I was sure this Paraguay against Germany, it was going to be very close. If Germany would win, it would be just for 1 goal. Yeah. And now I remember, I saw that goal from Ta, and I blinked, and then we were in penalty shootout. I managed to watch the penalty shootout.
Do you know what? I thought that was a harsh one as well. That was a really harsh VAR decision.
Yeah, exactly.
Really harsh.
But well, I knew Paraguay had a chance because if Germany win, was in the way that it was almost was. with just by one goal. But when you play like that and you have the chance to make the other team penalty shootout, yeah, that's what happened. Germany was not
And
from.
it's also very demoralising, isn't it? When you get taken to a penalty shootout and you know the team wants to take you to penalties, that can be really hard. And I had a fear that was going to happen to France with Paraguay. I had a fear that was going to happen to France with Sweden as well. And who else was there? Maybe Argentina, Spain in the final. I thought Argentina were going to try and get penalties and they'll win that if it goes to penalties. They'd win that all day. And I think Spain were a bit relieved when Ferran Torres scored. I think they were a bit like, right, good. It's just that mentality thing, isn't it? You've got this team that's just like, right, we're hell-bent on dragging this game out, taking it to penalties. We're not really trying to win it because we don't think we're on a par with you in terms of our ability in the game. And it can be a bit demoralising if they get the penalty shoot. They've almost won the first victory of the game by getting it to penalties. One of the things I did like about this was there wasn't many penalty shootouts beyond the quarterfinals, which I like, which is really good. It did kind of drag a bit. My next thing on here was like, what surprises were there? Ricky, any real big surprises from you in this?
It's surprising in the sense of we got some of the smaller nations doing well and playing well, but I think in terms of surprises, I can't remember anything that really made me go, wow, that's a standout moment. That's something that really happened. Not for me anyway. I don't think there was anything major in that respect. It was nice to see the smaller nations do well in some of the games and have good moments, but I think it was moments more than anything else. I don't know. I think jumping out.
Shocks. Not many people knocked out. Carlos, what was your?
I mean, I was surprised how good played the United States in the first two games.
Yes.
Yeah, I think they saved people in the games against Turkey. They were good enough again in the second round. In the first game, because Bosnian is not a big team, but it's a European team. It's always difficult for a team from other continent to beat a European one because the Europeans are accustomed to play such type of game. But what happened with this red card killed, I think, everything and just motivate more. And I saw a statistic from Balogun that he really did nothing.
I know.
I mean, if you just compare, if you don't know nothing and compare the stats from Balogun this game with the games before, you will not understand what happened. But that's exactly. But that explains that was something there mentally that was not good for him and probably for the team, right?
I think, it didn't help them. I also don't think he's that good anyway. And that they're that good. I think that, they're the favourable, and you know what? Someone at work said this to me, and I will admit this, right? I never thought about it this way at all. And I don't know why I never thought about it this way. And I talked about, we were at work and we were having a conversation. I was saying that obviously the US got a very favourable draw, which is why, they've gotten as far as they did. On paper, in my head, Turkey was the most difficult game. You could argue Paraguay as well, and obviously they came through the Paraguay game very well. I think they benefited from scoring quite quickly against Paraguay, very quickly, didn't they? They scored 2 goals very quickly. But the person at work said to me, well, obviously the US were given a favourable draw because FIFA need the host to go far. And it's all, and I always get, yes, obviously you need the host to go far because of host nations and, and fans and stuff. But they said, no, like, sponsorship and commercial stuff, like there's that side of it as well. Like you can't have a tournament where the host gets knocked out straight away and having like from an advertising perspective, think about how many adverts FIFA would miss out on if America got knocked out in the group stage. And it never really even dawned on me. It really like I didn't even think that could be a factor in it. And it's silly of me because that's obvious, but I never thought that. Do you know what, when you were talking about little teams, and this goes to show how long this World Cup was. Who remembers that Curacao equalised against Germany? It felt like
I remember the goal.
It feels like years ago.
Because I celebrate that goal.
Yeah, I did as well.
Yeah. Well, I didn't celebrate it because it messed up my prediction. I predicted Germany 7-0. And when I saw it, when it went 1-0, I was like, well, I'm not going to get that. And the minute they went to 7, I was like, here we go, see. But yeah, like it's one of the things that happened ages ago. It feels like it happened a completely different tournament.
That's really... Sorry, that was a bad example because that was a famous moment. Seeing Curacao tying 1-1 with Germany was one of the highlights from the group stage. Although it finished 1-7, 1-7, but anyone that saw that game for sure remember that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I didn't remember, to be honest, how was the game between Curacao and Ivory Coast.
I don't either.
It don't. But
Yeah.
that game and the one against Ecuador, yeah, of course, because all the South American team I try to miss no games. But
Yeah.
I was thinking, so you mentioned something that is, or Ricky, I don't know, that the small team did it well. And I will, like, Congo did well, Cape Verde did well, Egypt did well, yeah. But if you saw which teams they beat, with exception of Cape Verde, because that was exceptional. But normally you have always one. Normally, not always, but normally you have always one of those. But then they did great against Argentina, but before then, who they beat? New Zealand.
Yeah.
They didn't manage to beat Iran. Yeah, there was a tie.
And they played Australia, didn't they? Australia they beat in there on penalties.
Penalties. I mean, they play great against Argentina. Normally they would have.
Mm-hmm.
Who was also in this Congo play a great
Do you
game
know-
against
do you know-
Argentina and got a point against Portugal. Yeah, but the other teams.
Yeah.
Algeria.
You're right. You are right. You are right. Do you know what I was going to say? I actually just remembered another disappointment. Actually, before we move on, Senegal
Yeah.
2-0 up against Belgium, flying, and I was like, this team. I knew they were going to be good, and they threw it away. And it was like 86 minutes. I think they were 2-0 up at 86 minutes.
86
And they
minutes.
managed to lose the game. And
I mean, I will not put them as disappointing.
I just think they could have got through that.
They play.
And
They play a good game against France. France was much better,
Mhm.
but I mean, they try to attack against
Mhm.
Senegal, against France, in my opinion. Against Norway, they were unlucky.
Mhm.
And against Iraq, they did what they must.
They needed to
That
do.
it
Yeah.
was winning by a lot of goals. And against Belgium, how can I say, they were better, but it can happen, or many times it happens to African.
The lapse.
These,
It was a lap.
these things that you get one goal and you get nervous, and you don't have that either experience, so to say, just one goal, just keep playing the same. Because it happened to Egypt, it happened to Senegal, it happened to Congo, you can say.
Congo against
Yeah, I was
England. Yeah, you could argue the same.
And there was another thing, I forgot. But if you go to previous tournaments, you can notice that in the African teams, especially, is a thing to improve concerning the mentality, especially in those moments.
It's
But say
interesting.
like
Is it just? Sorry, Ricky, go on.
No, I was going to say, because I was talking to someone about this, was the last 10 minutes for the African nations teams was when they were losing goals, and it happened quite a lot, as Carlos just said, for a few of the teams.
Like, I know, Ivory Coast,
Ivory
Norway.
Coast really won, but that was the thing. But when you watch CONCACAF, a lot of goals were scored late on, and games weren't over to the last minute, and a few of them went to extra time, as we know, and so forth. But in this tournament, in the World Cup, it seemed that actually, I think, yeah, Carlos, you're right. Maybe it's a confidence thing. It's when they're playing teams from these other nations.
Is it history?
Yeah, maybe.
Is it history? Not having a history of doing well in that situation, and just like the weight of that being on you.
Well, it must
more
be, because
so
Belgium's
than,
not
like-
a team where you would think you're 2-0 up and you'd be still worried about them coming back. Not like us watching.
like-
Yeah, we'd be like, well, no, that's not going to
I
happen.
mean, for an example, is like African teams got these problems in the knockout stage from the very beginning. England get it in the quarterfinals or semifinals or something like that. It's like the limits are different. Yeah, for England, it was in against Argentina semifinal, came back all these traumas that we didn't reach the final.
Yeah.
In the African teams, it's from the very beginning of the knockout stage, and every country says have different.
Yeah, maybe.
say.
The disappointing, just on the last thing on the disappointment thing, is that I think that Senegal would have beaten the USA. Had they played the USA, I think they'd have beaten the USA, and then that would have set them up to play Spain, which they probably might have lost that one, but like they could have done quite well there. I'm just conscious of time. The last bit I wanted to kind of cover really was the final itself. And obviously you've got your Argentina top on, Carlos. And I know we've spoken loads and you talk about like, you know, you're always rooting for the South American sides. Obviously you would have wanted Argentina to win. I've got Spain, my Spain USA 91st shirt on as well. What did you think of the final? It wasn't a great game. I'd imagine you probably don't think it was a great game. It looked like, do you know what? It reminded me, and sorry I asked you a question and I don't even let you answer it yet. It reminded me so much of the 1990 final. The way it was played, the circumstances with Messi coming back following winning the World Cup with Argentina like Maradona had, the sending off, everything about it reminded me of the 1990 final.
Okay, I will try to talk some things before that. The game there were some things that it didn't make look like a final. First thing is like when I saw it was so early with so much sun. Normally finals are at night.
Someone else said that. Ollie, the guy Ollie said that. Ollie, I can't remember his surname. The guy that does the kits.
Exactly. He said a lot of many things that he said. I also thought it. I also thought it before. Normally during the games I chat with my cousins, and I was, why it's early? And I was thinking the final of Mexico '86 was early. The final of 1994 was early. But after that,
and
I suppose the final from Brazil 2014 started early, but I have in my head that when it finished, it was not that.
It was darker. It was darker. Yeah, definitely.
Dark.
When you think of the guts of goal, it doesn't look light, does it? Yeah.
Exactly. It was like something like that. Normally, we have the show. I was trying to remember because it was my wife asked me at which hour is Shakira showing up. I was thinking, yeah, normally we used to have a show at the beginning. Normally, the music and everything was before the beginning of the game. Am I right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And before the game was not that much of that. At least I didn't see before the game.
There was a bit.
Afterwards,
there was a little bit. Yeah.
And then there were there were some things that I said final for me really have a couple of things. But anyway, when I saw the lineups, one thing that I was wondering is, okay, I understand why he's putting Nicolás González.
Everyone talked about that, yeah.
Instead the Paul. But my question was, then who will do that work that Nicolás González did every game in the second half? That was decisive because Argentina won his games in the last part of the second half. So he risked it. He did something risking something else that always works in the second half. I think Nicolás González did a good game. Or not a good game in the term that Scaloni gives him some task, and I think he fulfilled. Then Montiel was a good change from Molina. It was an open goal for him in the previous games, and Montiel played well defensive. Talking about defensive, and there was a third change. There were three changes from Argentina.
Was it because Martinez got injured though? Remember there was an injury as well.
No. I mean at the beginning of the game, Montiel, González.
Can't remember.
There was a third change.
Can't remember the third one.
I think Argentina changed too much in order to stop
Spain, rather than to actually try and win the game. Yeah,
exactly. And trying to stop Spain, he lose some weapons to attack that they only use in the second half. Another thing that I was thinking, I don't know what you think. So by the way that Argentina played the fair half, it was not useful in those fair half. If Messi would have an individual action, everyone would say, yeah, perfect Messi. But in that first half, Spain having the possession and when you needed players to recover the ball, and Messi, we know why he don't do that task, because he can do other things. but he was not able to do other things in that first half and also in the second. It was at the end as Argentina played with one player less because against England, I think in the second part after the first hydration break, he came back. He played as a 10, played as a midfielder, and got a lot of contact. And I was expecting after the first hydration break, okay, when is Messi gonna do that? Because he didn't got the ball, yeah, but he didn't do that. He just stayed up front and didn't got nothing. So it was real as if Argentina played with 10 man and almost the whole game, yeah, because Messi didn't get the ball and didn't go back as against England, and he tried to move to the right, but he didn't go the ball, yeah. So Messi for me was the best player of the tournament, but because he managed to get the ball, yeah. Of course, you cannot take out Messi, and Messi would have played. So the trainer could have not come to the idea, hey, Messi is not starting. That was impossible. I understand that. I just want to point out that another disadvantage from Argentina was by the way they played. They couldn't use Messi, and Messi don't defend. So they practically played with 10 men.
So basically played with 10 from the beginning and then almost played with 9.
Exactly. And I didn't hear too much commenting about that, but I was looking, and Julian Alvarez ran a lot. What means that he also could do less offensive because he a lot of
Because he has to help where Messi's not helping. Yeah.
exactly. And I mean, so Scaloni changed the tactics. It works to keep the 0, but it destroy all the chances to score a goal. At the end, talking with the result, you can say, okay, he made a mistake, but you never know. Maybe he plays like normally and happened like the same against France. Spain scored goals early, and then Argentina anyway don't see the ball.
Yeah, because that was the thing. If they did score early, that would be it. It'd be done. And he didn't want that. He couldn't afford Spain to score an early goal in that game.
Exactly. But
they get picked off.
I was thinking, if in football you could get a player out, and then against him, I would have taken out Messi after the first 10, 15 minutes. Messi,
and then bring him back on.
Just bring back the middle of the second half and run as And that was another disadvantage. To be honest, after the final, a lot of things that appeared to conspirations to risk. So not too much analysis from the game. So that the analysis from the game is the thing that I think about it. I don't see what is people tactically talking, because in Argentina all people is talking about the conspiration and why Messi didn't play but if you try to analyze, like, if you forget that and try to concentrate in the football that was played and tactical and everything, that's what I see. Yeah. This time it was too much advantage for Argentina having for Spain, having one player that doesn't try to recover.
Yeah. And Ricky, your final, what did you think of the final?
Do you know, I think Carlos is onto it, because I think it showed in the first 10, 15 minutes as well, because I think even Spain were a bit taken back, because they had a bit of the ball and a few attacks quite early on, Spain, and you could tell, I think they were surprised by how much. I think it naturally put Argentina on the back foot, because that change of tactic was probably one or two players too many. So then they were naturally sitting back as well as part of that, a bit of it, so inviting it on from Spain a bit. And then the game just sort of nullified itself, and both teams sort of balanced each other out a bit as the longer the game went on. And how I rated it is probably how I finished it, in the sense of I actually fell asleep. And it was which was a shame, because you don't want to, and then it was like I couldn't do it any longer. And my wife watched it, and she came up and told me the result, because I just couldn't. And but it was a shame, because I was hoping to get more from the game. But then thinking about it, beforehand, Spain had only conceded one goal in that whole tournament. So it was like, what is this game going to be like? But they had attacked well, Spain, so it wasn't like I was expecting them to just sit back, and they didn't. For me, it wasn't the final I hoped it would be. It was like what we do in the
Yeah.
Premier League when you see a build up from Manchester City and Chelsea for ages, and then it's suddenly
Yeah, and it ends up being like a 1-0 scrappy game at
Yeah.
Stamford Bridge. I know what you mean. You're right.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. And also, someone said if England had played the final, Spain would have battered. They'd have beaten us like 3-0 or something. And I thought to myself, maybe, because we would have been a bit more open and a bit less like not naive, but like we'd have like, you know, we'd have been like, well, we're going to play a bit more, and it would have played into their hands a bit. So like you said, they get an early goal. If they get an early goal, it's done.
Yeah.
You know, there's no way you get out of that.
Because I was wondering, I saw the game against Belgium, they were not so dominant. Against Portugal, they were also not so dominant. What I really wanted, I don't have the time, but I would have really wanted to check against those games what these teams did, because I don't remember the statistic of possession or something, but for sure the difference was not that high because Belgium got possibilities to win.
Yeah,
Belgium was not on the back, and Portugal also.
that
I mean-
Portugal game, I was just going to say, that was the worst game of football I've watched in a long time.
Hey,
That was a terrible game.
Yeah, I agree, but Spain was not so dominant.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. They couldn't get on the ball. They couldn't dominate.
I don't know what Portugal did or Belgium, but
You know what?
well,
Against better teams, and I said this, and they did it, and this is how they scored their goal in the final. They needed to play Nico Williams on the left wing, and obviously he's coming back from injury. So they weren't stretching people as much because they didn't have the pace on the left-hand side. They had Yamao on one side and it was at Bayano, whatever his name was, on the left. And he isn't as quick and that sort of player. So you found that they were getting like in a situation where it would go down Yamao's side and the team would stop them. And they brought him on against France at the end, Williams. And I think they did it. It might have been Belgium as well where they brought him on. But in the final, you could see that they were calling out for it. And the minute they did it, it made a difference. And not just because of the goal, but you see like he had that bit where he tried to do like a chop and he messed it up. But like he was sort of getting them on that left-hand side a lot. Because to your point, Carlos, if you've got that pace, you can't just sit in sometimes. And you get in behind the defender with that quick player. And all of a sudden, the other team has to think about that. And then it makes them sit even deeper or defend even deeper or invite you on because they don't want to overcommit and get in a situation where Nico Williams is running through against them. So I think it helped them in the end. It helped them get the goal in the end, and not just because he set up the goal, but even the chances they got towards the end of the game were all about like him being there and them being worried about his pace. But I think against those other teams, they suffered from him not being fit. Against Belgium, he wasn't fit, and even against Cape Verde, he didn't play, did he? He just sat on the bench against Cape Verde, and again they were kind of struggling to break them down. And on another day, they probably beat Cape Verde 3-4-0. But I think that was what it was. When they played good teams, they needed a bit more pace. And the scary thing is I think Nico Williams is like 22. So he's going to be around in Euro 2028 and the next World Cup as well, providing he doesn't have anything serious happen. So they're going to have a great front line.
I did think if England got to the final, I would have put him. I would have tried to start him because I don't think England would not have been able to deal with two wingers at pace on each side. Their fullback just would have had a nightmare. So I was quite worried that if they got through that we were just going to get overrun.
because now I remember that you are talking about England, but people don't remember that after England scored a goal against Argentina, they just have 12-13% possession.
Don't.
Like, and that's for more than half an hour, right?
Yeah.
Declan Rice was running the game and he took him off.
Yeah.
I was watching the substitution that Tuchel made, and I didn't go. Like, I mean, it's not an unexperienced trainer. Yeah. Like, I don't know. It's not if when England was playing like that before the substitution, you could blame the play. But after that substitution made, you cannot blame the players.
Yeah.
It was the trainer.
Yeah, it was him.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, he messed up.
Yeah.
He definitely messed up. And I don't think England would get to that final and win, like we said, but, you know, it was an opportunity to get to a World Cup final. England were probably the third best team in that tournament. And we're on a side of the draw where there were no one that was actually on paper, if you looked at it, were better than us. And we messed it up.
Again.
But anyway, we go again. We've probably run out of time here. Ricky and I both said we'd do 45-minute recording and we've got an hour and 20. Can always talk for ages. I was going to say we've got the Nations League coming up. There's obviously a Copa America that will be. Is the Copa America in 2028 as well?
I don't know.
Because there used to be odd
imagine.
years, but they did the last one in 2024, didn't
now they do every time they can. So I heard that the next one is in the USA, and I
Yes.
suppose it should be next year. Let's see. I'm not so excited about it.
they? Now the
It
World
should
Cup's
be
come
in
and
South
gone.
America, you know.
Definitely.
I mean, because the World Cups look great, you saw the fans and everything, but when you ask the people how many money they spend, you realize
Don't.
those are not the real fans.
Yeah, exactly. So you
Those
take it
are
away
not
from the. Yeah.
exactly, and I find it good that Copa America is from time to time in the US. There's so many South Americans live, but not every
Yeah.
not
Absolutely. You're
every
right.
tournament. It's like you're
Well,
killing that tradition.
it's not like it's not like a massive tournament that needs to be held in a massive country either. It can be hosted in like a smaller country because you've got 16 teams max.
Yeah, but thing is that in the US you can get paying a lot of money.
There's hope yet.
Yeah.
Good move.
I mean,
Sorry,
economically for sure. I still remember when Copa America 2004 was in Peru. I mean, you don't make so much money, but the stadiums were quite full. Yes, of course, you cannot put so expensive tickets, but they went to the provinces. I remember most of the games were full of. I managed to saw some games in Peru, and it was
Right.
great. The atmosphere was great, but of course, you want to make money, take it to the US and put it 16.
Yeah, it's a shame. But yeah, we'll definitely have to come back, and Ricky and I are already talking about doing.
Last question. I remember Euro when it came from 16 to 24. I said bad idea, and then I thought, okay, 24 is great. At the end, you don't get so much games, but anyway, the European qualifiers for the Euro were not so important, so I find it good. 48 for the time we are running from the year. I find it's okay. It's okay, but now they are talking about 64. I think that the president from the South American Confederation said we are gonna make it 64 for the next time, and I am sure they are gonna make it 64.
It's going to drag, and it's impossible to then host it in a smaller country as well, which is the problem as well. You have to co-host, and it's just silly. Like 32 was probably perfect. 32 was perfect.
For me, it was
48 is a stretch, I think. Yeah.
For me, it's the limit.
Yeah, exactly. There is a limit. A 24-team tournament is perfect as well. I think 24 is fine. I don't mind the best thirds going through, but I think once you get beyond 32, once you have a round of 32, the tournament's just going to be like it was this year. Like you say, you can't even remember which games were round of 32 games versus which games were round of 16 games.
You'd end up moving toward the Champions League format with the leagues when you'd have to do that because
that's coming, isn't it? Yeah.
Like the thing is, it would start to affect the leagues themselves. Like
exactly.
A lot more. It's already
because you need longer time.
You think you've got to have 4 weeks? Yeah. The people, anyone who was in the semi-final, those players are not taking part in their leagues to the end of September.
They're not playing in the Premier League until like October, or maybe not October, but maybe mid-September. They're not playing.
Yeah, it's crazy. So yeah, 64 teams would just make that even further, and it's like, well, suddenly that puts a lot of stress on the club.
I mean, but so FIFA move it to 48 because of the money, and they got 2,000 million more than they expected.
So we're doomed.
It was in terms of money, was a fantastic success. Yeah, so
that's because they charged everybody that much
to
go watch the games.
Exactly. Why they will wait? I saw it how many money they made 2 days ago. Like, I don't know in percentage, but it was 2,000 million more than they expected. So it's
God.
They will continue doing it.
Yeah.
And if they can make more news.
It'll be soon it'll just be everyone just plays in it. No qualifiers. Right,
Yes.
we definitely need to wrap up there. It's been
Yeah,
really
therefore I
good.
was.
As always. Like I said, we'll get you. We'll definitely. We'll look to have some Nations League chat and first set of internationals that come up, sort of like in September, October. We'll probably get some pods in then as well with you. But thank you very much, Carlos. Thanks for coming and sharing
Thank
your
you for
World
the
Cup.
invitation.
Yeah, thanks, Carlos.
World Cup stories with us. Cheers, Ricky.
Thanks, Trev. Thanks,
You survived.
Carlos.
The baby didn't cry.
Baby didn't cry.
Thank you, Ricky.
We're winning. I'll be
Right,
crying as well.
wicked. Right, I'll see you later, guys.
Take care, guys.
Bye bye.
Bye.